that noise there is mains hum. That's because the damn thing's so loud. But the normal track's in E, and as it goes up before the solo, it feeds back on E like this. So we turn the guitar up slowly, it'll feed back. See the note changes? Like that, so just turn the amp off. So that's a good demonstration of, even though it's probably the simplest track they've ever done as far as adornments go, is that clear, and the guitar goes like that. But, like that. Just like that.
If you talk to anyone who's got a vague idea of Queen and No More, there are two songs they're going to know instantly. We Are the Champions, We Will Rock You, released as a double A side. Who knew that it would become such social anthems across all the boundaries? We Are the Champions is the sports anthem of all time. Now, Freddie Mercury initially said he wrote it as his tribute to Frank Sinatra's My Way, and then he admitted a little later, well, I had football chants in mind when I wrote it, and I had that sort of idea, and I could see fans chanting that. But I don't think even he realised it would be picked up and become such a great sports anthem played across all sports. All the biggest sports venues and events in the world play We Are the Champions because it has that feeling of being on top.
I paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my shadows and into my past, but I've got through. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions, we are the champions. No time for loser, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
I remember people finding We Are the Champions almost comic, actually, in some respects, because it was so in your face. And but they did produce an amazing sound, if you think about it. And the fact that it was a confessional in a way as well. Freddie was sort of pointing out. It's rather like Frank Sinatra's My Way. He's confessing that he's committed sins and crimes, but he's going to fight through and win in the end. Perfect for any sports team, any competition, really. So, yeah, he tapped a raw nerve with that piece, I think. Maybe it's all a bit overwrought and over the top. But why not if you're playing to Wembley Stadium and hundreds of thousands of people are cheering, waving their fists in the air and joining in the kind of celebration. And at the same time, you know, it was, it was a sort of, it was a worldwide hit, of course, but it was also a kind of realisation that Queen were one with their audience. This is the point where every band loves to be identifying with their fans, and with We Are the Champions, they drew in fans from all over the world, you know, Far East, America, the whole of Europe. Everybody was identifying with Queen at that point, and that's why it's remained such a powerful piece.
But there's been a bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. Consider it a challenge for all human race, and gonna lose. I keep on. We are the champions, my friend. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers. We are champions. Oh, we are the champions, my friend.
We Are the Champions has become almost a sort of alternative national anthem. You know, if you see 50,000 people in a football stadium, they probably sing that with more fervour than they do sing God Save the Queen. That did mark their transition to a stadium band in every sense of the word. And, you know, even if you don't like them, there's something quite thrilling when you do hear 50,000 voices singing that song in a stadium and everybody knows the words. And yes, I suppose that was the song that enabled them to take off in America as well. I mean, it is interesting, that double A-side came out in 1977, and we look back at rock and roll history, and what do we think of when we talk about 1977? We think of the year of punk. And punk had absolutely no impact on Queen whatsoever, either musically or, just as interestingly, in terms of their popularity. And because they had never really been hip, they couldn't become unhip. And this enabled them to ride out punk and to put out a record like We Are the Champions and We Will Rock You and rule the world, really.
The huge success of We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions, alongside the iconic status now afforded to many of their previous hits, suggested it was with singles and not albums that Queen reached their audience.
Arguably, Queen were one of the last great singles bands, which was interesting because they came up in that era when the album had become the thing. And perhaps they restored the primacy of the single, which may, of course, be another reason they were able to ride out punk in the way that they did, because punk was also about a return to the 3-minute single, not necessarily the 6-minute single with operatic choruses and 3 movements. But anyway, it was about the single rather than the album, and Queen clearly started as an album band. Brian May conceived them as an album band, but as they got bigger and bigger, I think